Welcome to the Social Stack, your go-to channel for real estate marketing strategies based in technology. I'm Amy Stack, and today we're recording a session of Master Your Marketing. It's a bi-weekly class that goes in depth into tech systems around tech to teach systems around technology-based inside marketing. And the topic of our week this week is discussing how to use the neighborhood search feature on your KW sites and how you can really use that for getting leads and building in some search functionality for your clients to make it easier for them to find things in specific neighborhoods. So before we get started, if this is your first time here and you want to learn more, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and then the bell icon to make sure you get the alerts for the latest class updates. All right, guys, so like I mentioned, this is a class that it's the first time I'm doing this. There's a few things I know that agents have been doing that I wanted to share with everybody. However, there's a few things that I've tested out that I think would be really cool to implement into your business. So give me a little grace as we experiment with some new things. If you guys have other ideas, if maybe I shared something that you think, oh, that could also work in this application, let me know. I'll test it out. We'll try it live and see how it goes. All right. I am going to share my screen with you. And the first thing I'm going to do is pull up a Keller Williams website. So let me do that and then I'll go ahead and screen share. Oh, helps if you type it correctly. There we go. All right, can you guys see my screen okay? Let me move you over so I can see your faces. There you are. I'm going to open the chat, so feel free to type in questions in the chat bar as well. Okay, so like I said, at first, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, that we know how these search functions work and what types of filters and everything you have access to. I'm going to accept my cookies here, and I'm just going to search for Glen Ellen. And we'll allow the computer to know my location. Oh, so because I told it my location, it's now, this is where I live, North Lake. There I am, look at me. So that's how it works. Anytime you allow the computer to know your location, it'll drop you right to that spot on the map. So if you guys are looking for a different neighborhood, you just type in the town you want or a zip code. Oh, it didn't take it. There we go. There we go. So here's Glen Ellen. And this is very similar to other search features you guys have used before on other websites. It's very comparable. We have our map on the left, our listings on the right, and we've got some filters up here, as well as the draw feature. And then you can see if you want your traditional map view or your satellite view. So I just wanted you to all be aware that those are options. You can use the really cool draw feature here. So if you want to highlight a very specific area, oop, I didn't hold it long enough. Let's do that again. You just draw your circle on the map or polygon, whatever. It's just like your polygon tool on the MLS. So then as it catches up, here we go. It's only going to show me listings inside that circle that I drew, and that's what's reflected here on the right. Any questions about that? I feel like you guys probably know this, but I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page. Good to go with this so far? I see some head nods. Okay, perfect. What I know not everybody knows is that we've got our filters up here. So we've got price, beds, baths. That's pretty common. We have property types as well. So we can search for just houses, apartments. I mean, you guys can read what this says on here. So let's say I want to switch that to just homes and not apartments. You can see my search volume changed a little here. And I can always reset that if I want to. And we have the for sale feature. So some of this stuff I believe is coming soon. If anybody is watching from another state, go ahead and check it out. Right now for Illinois, I haven't seen all of these filters work yet, so just know that they're here, that you can come and play with them and see when the feed comes through from the MLS. So for example, if I wanted to see coming soons only, I don't think that is pulling in from the PLN just yet. And that's because of the feed from the MLS to the websites. So keep checking back to play with that. I'm not sure if these lower filters, here we go. Looks like we can search for new construction, so that's a cool filter. And then foreclosures, does anything come up for that? So not yet for foreclosures, probably the same for short sales. But I do want you guys to know that that's there, and especially if you're searching in other areas that have different MLSs, that might be something that populates information for you. And the reason I wanted to highlight that is because you can actually save a search from this screen and use it in like a Facebook ad. So if you were searching for an area, let's say we wanted this area that I've circled, and we want homes, like what's a really hot price right now? Somebody type it in the chat or shout it out. Hot price point.
250.
250? All right, so let's do homes from 220 to 330 in this circle right here. Oh, I gotta change it back to my active ones. All right, so that's a popular price point, 220 to 330 in my circle that are active. And is it fair to say that that would have 2+ beds and baths? There's a couple that got lost there, and then we'll say 1+ bathroom for now. So let's say that's a really hot search and you know that people are looking for that. You can now copy this link up at the top here and use that for your Facebook ads. So when it asks you, where do people want to be, where do you want the people that click on the link to be directed, you can put this link in it. So then when they click it, it will bring them to this search for them. So your ad can say, are you looking for homes in, you know, this price range in this area? Click here to find the most, you know, current properties on the market that meet that criteria. So you can use this link right here to do that. The other thing I wanted to show you about this site is right now I am on the site as a consumer that has not logged into an account or doesn't necessarily have an account. And you can tell that because there's this button up here that says log in. So if I were to favorite something, or if I were already a client and I had an account, I can go ahead and hit log in. Oops. And I'm going to log into my account. And you can see now that I'm logged in, I have the button that I can save my search. So this exact thing is something that your clients can do as well and save it inside their own account. So if they come in and let's say they want to do this draw feature again and they want, you know, this area instead of Lombard. I know this isn't a great shape here. That'll filter in. So now we have, currently there's 48 properties in that little circle that meet the criteria we already filtered up here, and I can go ahead and hit save search. And it populated that draw area name, but I could say, you know, like 220, whoops, to 330 Wheaton, Glen Ellen. And this is me as a client. This is what I can do on my own. I don't need your help to do this. I can just set up this search for myself. And then I can choose to email notifications to myself on any of these timeframes. So this is something that is very comparable to your search results inside the MLS. So when you set up a client on a search in the MLS and they choose to get a weekly email with updates, or they can get an instant one. So anytime something goes live to the market, they can go ahead and say, I want to get that notification right away, right when something hits. Or they can do it daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, or never, if they just want to save the search and be able to refer back to it quickly on their own. So I'm going to put never on mine and hit save. So that means anytime I log back into my account, I can now come to this saved button and I can see the searches that I've already set up, so I don't have to remember all those filters and go click through and set them all up. So now I've shown you how you can create a filter to get a link to put in a Facebook ad, and how your clients can do it for themselves, or you can do it for them and send them the links as well in command. So that's a little bit of the neighborhood features. The reason that I actually started having this conversation with an agent was because he wanted to be able to put neighborhoods on his website. Meaning, let's go back to the home page. And I'm going to log out. Oops. So you can see we have the drop down right here, and there's not much on this website. This is just a demo account right here. But you can see there's 2 pages on here. One is download my app and one is Elm One. This is one I was practicing with. This is an Elmhurst search that I had set up. So if I go ahead and click that, this is, I should have gone back. I went out of order. I set one up that wouldn't work, and then I wanted to show you guys how to set one up that would work. So this is what I did. Let's go backwards. So when I set up the search inside my private account, my personal account, not the public facing one, and I copied the link into the website, this is what happens. So you want to make sure if you want to get the link on the website, you need to not be logged into your own account. That's why I made this. I wanted to make sure you guys knew that you need to, when you're creating a link to share out to the public, you don't want to be in your own account. You want to be in just the public, anything that anybody can see, because if you send them the one that's within your account, they don't have access to it. So that's why I left that one up. So when the first thing I did was, I did the search before I hit save. That's the link you want to use with to share to anybody. So let's log out of me again. And we'll just come right back in. So here you see it's prompting me to log in. So that's how you know that the website is, it's not logged into anybody's specific account. So anybody can see this and anything you're doing here. So if I log into the back end of command and we go into consumer, this is how you access your web pages and your landing pages and your app. So anything that the consumer can see, you come into this consumer tab right here and you have access to the back end of it. So for those of you that are familiar with putting websites on your page, you'll know that all you have to do is hit this create a new site button and then on my agent site. So we always have a list of widgets over on the right here. And what I thought was kind of cool is that I went to the content blocks instead of the widgets. So I came here and I just added this little text field. So you can see I can type anything I want in here. And I have a code that people in my office, this is in our Google Drive. So I'm just going to paste this code in here. And this is it's kind of a create your own widget code. So see this text right here where it says your website here. If you guys want to link anything into your website, that's like another site, like let's say you have a lender that you work with all the time and you want to link their site into your site, you could take their URL and paste it right here and their site will be linked into your web page then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to the website that's not logged in as anybody. I'm going to set up that search. What town should we do? I already did Elmhurst, Glen Ellen. Somebody shout out a town.
Warrenville.
Warrenville. All right, thanks, Bobby. Oh, I did it again. I didn't put it. It's 2 R's, right? Warren. There we go. Okay, so here's Warrenville, and let's change our filters a little bit, just so we have a little something different to look at. Oh, there's not a lot in my filters that I chose there. 32. Let's go back to 2 bedroom. There we go. So there's 45 properties that meet that filtered search. Now again, remember it says log in, so I'm not logged in as anybody. This is a public site, and I'm just going to copy the text in the URL right at the top. So I'm copying that text. And right here where it says your website here, I'm going to delete that text and put the website that I just copied in its place. And whenever you're working on the websites, it always wants you to use one of the widgets just to get it up and running. So I'm just going to put the download my app widget right underneath it. And then I have the option to hit this configure widgets button. But before I even do that, where I put the text right here, I can click it 3 times and it will give me, it's supposed to give me a preview of how, oh, I see what happened. It didn't copy my whole code over. When I click it 3 times, it should give me a preview of what it'll look like on the website here. So I'm copying my URL with that search I did on my public facing website. I'm back in the website builder, and I'm just going to delete the text that says your website here and paste in that URL. And now, there we go. So I clicked it 3 times. This is what's going to appear for the public. I'm just going to hit configure, save, and save. And then if you guys are already familiar with adding pages to your website, you know that you have to make this site live. So here's my Warrenville page. And you can see that the eyeball is gray, which means the public can't see it yet. So if you've never done this, I do have lots of tutorials on my YouTube channel that we can go back and look at, but I'm going to go through kind of quick to show you just how to make it live. So you go to your site and app settings, site pages, add a page. Here's the Warrenville one I just made. So we're going to hit continue, and then you can title it whatever you want. So like, let's say you did do a very specific area and price range that you wanted to do. You could name it something like popular Warrenville searches or Warrenville homes in the 200,000, something like that. I'm just going to call it Warrenville homes. And we're going to hit save. So now you see it says settings were saved successfully, were updated successfully. And if I go and refresh my website, in my drop down now, you see I have Warrenville homes that popped up as an option to go to. So if I click that, you'll see we're going to have a little bit of a double header, but if you scroll through, that will go away. But this saved that search specifically. So if you want to feature a specific town on your website or a specific price point in a certain area, you can do that so that you can highlight areas that you work in regularly. I haven't found out a way to get rid of the second border here, and you can get a little meta because they do have the drop down still works here too, so they can search your website within your website. But it is a neat little way to be able to feature a specific area right on your website.
Hey, where can we find that code?
What was that, Bobby?
Where can we find that code?
So for you, since you're in my office, if you go into the KWPP resources drive, I'll post it in the chat for you too. It's in the title is embed widget links. It's in the website resources folder. But I just put the code inside the chat, and this is something that, like, if you Google, you know, embed website code, you should be able to find this. It's a pretty standard code. So if you guys want to save that somewhere on your desktop, or, you know, draft in an email or something, you can do that. The only thing you have to change is right here where it's got those big cap locks. The your website here, that's where you paste your link. So you leave those quotation marks in there and you paste the link that you want to link to your website right there instead of that text. So like I said, this is what will happen if you use a code that's inside a personal account that's saved. And this is what'll happen if you do it from that public account. So that's why I wanted to show you the difference between the two. How else do you guys think that you could use something like this? What are your clients asking for when they're looking at like specific neighborhoods? What are they asking you?
Well, in the future, we can embed videos.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought maybe we could do this on a landing page too. I haven't tried that out. I'd be happy to test it with you guys and see how it turns out. I would assume it's very similar. So instead of clicking, when I go to new site, instead of clicking on my agent site, we would just do a standalone page. We'll do Warrenville again. And you could do your branded header, and then our text box, and then our legal footer maybe. And we'll take that code and take our link. Oh, let me do it from the home screen. Is this the one? No, close that. I'm gonna do it from the home screen. So we'll do a new search. What's the other town, guys? Lavonda, you're in Lombard, right? We'll do Lombard. And let's do different price point. We'll do 2 bed, 2 bath still. And we'll draw, we'll go along St. Charles Road, down Westmore. We'll go all the way down to Roosevelt. Oop, I missed a spot. That's okay. So we're gonna say that's our Lombard area. We're gonna copy that link. We will go back into command. We're gonna change this to Lombard. Oh, I didn't put the code in. See, this is what happens when you don't save the code. It's just blank. So real quick, new site, standalone page. This means it's for a landing page, meaning that it's not going to be connected to your website at all. So standalone page. We'll do the header, the text, and a legal footer. Copy our code. Copy our link right into your website here. Click 3 times to get a preview. There we go. We're going to configure and save everything. Save. So you can see I saved it as a draft right here. So if I go back in, I can go ahead and edit it. And let's see. Branded header, it wants me to add something there. Oh, we want to put a name on it. So Lombard Homes. Save and apply. Publish page. Okay, so now let's see how it turned out. This is our landing page specifically about Lombard Homes. So it's not linked to the website at all, but you can see it's got our branded header. So it would have the contact information and everything right at the top there, and your legal footer to keep you compliant. And it's really your website kind of embedded right in here. So if you really want to have something specifically about a neighborhood, you can do it this way too and send it to people. So if you wanted to have a list of them ready to go inside your account, you could have a Lombard one, a Villa Park one, a Glen Ellen one. And whenever somebody asks for information on a specific town, you can just send them that individual landing page. And one of the widgets we have is actually a market snap. I don't know if I can add it now that I've already built the page, but let's find out. I'm gonna click this market snap and drag it over. You see where that green line is? That's where the widget should drop. We're going to go configure it. We're going to look at that new market snap. 60148, right, Lavonda? Thank you. And these are all different areas of Lombard. I'm going to do the whole town. So if you wanted to do a very specific section of Lombard, that is linked to the next door neighborhoods. So you can do whatever neighborhood in next door you want to link to this landing page right through that little button right here. Then we're going to save it and we're going to refresh the landing page. And we've got our header still, our map with our filtered search, and look at that, the stats about the area. So of course you would want to match your map. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it. Can you guys see that? You would want to match your map on top to whatever area you chose for the market snap if you decided to embed the neighborhood snap in there. And then you got your footer again. So you guys kind of see how you could use this in your business to give specific area information to people. I see Bobby thumbs up, Lavonda's giving me a head nod. Awesome. Well, do you guys have questions? Oh, Eric, thank you. Does anybody have questions? I can go over some stuff slower. If you have ideas, I'm happy to explore them with you. What are your thoughts on this?
I know I'm going to have to go back and watch the video. I was trying to follow along on my other computer while you were doing this, but you were kind of zipping.
Well, let's go over a little slower now that you can see what some of the ideas are. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take me to do everything, so I just wanted to like show you what your options were, and now we can kind of dig in. How's that sound? What part did you guys know that you had all those filters at the beginning? Okay, so I'm glad that you guys know that you have access to that. Did you know that your clients could set up those search notifications? Because that's new. That just came out last month. Okay, great. So make sure that you're sharing that with your clients. And now you know you don't have to set it up through the MLS if you don't want to.
Oh, that's great. So one question that I have, so with the links, so the links we copy, so say I want to just give update on Lombard where I live. So I just copy that link and put it on social media and just like put some words on top of it, like check out what's for sale in Lombard or something like that, and they can just hit the link, or how does
like
that?
This one right here, right? Like this page that we just made?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to copy that link. Great question. And I'm going to open Facebook. And while that's happening, I see, Michael, you sent me a question. I just put my email in the chat. If you guys want me to email you that widget code, just shoot me an email asking for the widget code, and I'll shoot that over to you. But it is, I'll also paste it back in the chat here too. Widget code. There you go. And when I put it on YouTube, I'll go ahead and put the code in the description of the video too. All right, so here is my Facebook page. Welcome to, the backside of my profile here. Let's say we want to go to my page, my personal profile here, and I want to share this link. So I'm going to just paste the link in. Oh, I forget, that's the one I just put in the chat. We want the Lombard link. And how's this guy, Lombard? So this is a landing page, again, separate from your website. So we're going to paste that link right in here, and you'll see a little preview. Oh, okay, so it doesn't really show a preview. So I would recommend putting a little picture in there and leave the link inside the body of the post so that people can just click on it, because this isn't really pretty, right? This little box right here. So let's look at Lombard images. Maybe we can find Lilacia Park or something. I don't know. Maybe you're doing the area by Yorktown. Okay, that Weston's in Yorktown Mall. So maybe you did your landing page about the homes right in that area there. So you could say something about looking to move close to the, whoops, to the action. Lots of shopping, easy access to public transportation, okay, right, so on and so forth. You can write whatever you want to put right there and say, you know, visit Lombard Homes here. And then they can click the link. Does that kind of give you an idea on how you can use that? Obviously, you want to make it make sense for where you're, who you're talking to and what homes you centered it on. But yeah, I mean, if we did it, the homes right around Yorktown, you could talk about how they're close to the mall. They're going to be close to Oakbrook Mall too, right? They're right off the highway. If you are highlighting specific price points, you could put that in the post that they can see. Make sure that you're letting them know that this is active. So if somebody happens to come across this a week after you posted it, they might think, well, why would I click on that? That's from a week ago. So you can let them know, like, always this, you know, this list is always updated. It's always current. It's live, something like that. So that they know that anytime they click on it, they'll have the latest and greatest feed to homes in that area. Great question, Lavonda. And then what you can do on the back end of, if you're doing a paid Facebook ad, so that's through the campaign section in command. So I'm back in command here. So campaigns. And you would do create a new one. And we're talking about the social ones, so paid social. Let's do attract buyers, Facebook, set up campaign. Oh, I'm not connected to an account. That's okay. I think I can show you what I want to do without connecting. So you could type in your text again, talking about, you know, homes from in this price range in this area. Put your little blurb in here, right? Price, area, zinger. Get their attention. This is where you put your hook, right? And then you can add whatever picture you want to highlight in there. And right here is where you tell it which profile you want the ad to come from. So right now it's connected to our business account, which isn't actually connected to this command page. But you can put right here, use a Facebook lead gen form. So I always recommend using the Facebook lead gen form because that is guaranteed to get you some kind of information, whereas use a site or a landing page will send them to the site or landing page right away without getting any information from the consumer. So if you say use Facebook lead gen form, they must provide you with information before they can get the information that they're seeking to receive. So I always do the use Facebook lead gen form, that first one, and then your call to action is learn more. And then this right here is the spot we would put that link. We don't need HTTPS in there twice. This is the link to the landing page that we just made. So when somebody provides their information, then and only then do they get the link to your landing page through that Facebook ad. So then you have a way to follow up with them, and you can put them on a smart plan. You know, Nick Baldwin has a ton in the shared library that are Facebook specific, Facebook lead follow-up plans right inside smart plans. And then you can do your ad targeting and everything. Does that help you, Lavonda? Talking about Facebook? Yep. All right. What other questions do we have? You guys see all these different ways we can apply these fun filters out to the public now?
Amy, I have a question about a picture. I go back to Facebook, okay? You're showing us. Can we use any picture we find on Google? I remember I took one of your classes and you mentioned something that we cannot use every picture we find on Google, right?
When you're doing a Google image search, technically when you're doing like business related things, to be safe, you can hit tools. So I just typed in Google, I mean, inside Google, I typed Lombard. and then I went to images. So that's where we got to the page we are now. When you select tools here, there's this button that pops up that's called usage rights.
Okay.
So you can look, oh, they updated it. There used to be like 4 or 5 options here. Now there's only 2, well, 3. So you can Creative Commons. So I would say that that one's going to be safe. Oh, look at that. To use on your commercial and other licenses, so you can use this commercially. Usually when people are just posting something on Facebook, like a link to, you know, a town or something, they're not quite as strict about that stuff. It's like if you're using somebody's picture to advertise something to make money from it, well, then you need to be paying for the rights for that picture, right? If you're doing something personal and you're like, oh, come check out this thing in Lombard and I need a picture of Lombard, like, I don't think people are really gonna
Okay.
care, but it never hurts to be safe.
Yeah.
And obviously if it's your own picture, you guys, a great tip for you for any sort of marketing is you guys are out all the time. You're in the towns that you're working in. Anything you see that you think could be like just a cool shot, just take pictures. Even if you
That's a
don't
good
know what you're
idea.
gonna use it for, just take pictures while you're out, and then you'll never know what, you know, it'll strike your fancy and inspire you to do a post like what we're talking about today.
That's
So,
a good tip. Thanks, Amy. Yeah.
yeah. Then you don't have to make a special trip to get the picture. You already have them on your phone. Save them in Google Drive or something like that. Same thing with yourself. You could do like mini photo shoots throughout the year. And keep different pictures of you, you know, like by an open house sign or holding balloons or like waving at somebody, or you can do like action shots while you're on the phone or, you know, typing on the computer. Just have those in your repertoire, I guess, ready to go. Anytime you have something that you have an idea and you're like, oh, I already have a picture for that. It's perfect. And you already, you know, had your makeup done. Boys did your hair, you know. All right, what else do we have? What other questions have you got for me? Oh, I see Eileen's on here. Eileen, if you are actively on, do you know anything about specifics on the photo rights that we were just talking about?
I do not, other than, you know, typically you need permission,
Right.
For copyrighted. And I know there's some sites that say like public pictures.
Yeah.
I do kind of what you were mentioning. I started doing that in Downers Grove and if you go to my website, you'll see some of the pictures that I've taken that I've put on my website. When I'm out, I'll, you know, oh, let me take a snap of that. So I actually did have a question, and I should know what the answer is. What is our legal footer? Is that automatically in there?
So if you, on your website, yes, it's built into the bottom of the website, which is, yes, what we're on here.
Is it the franchise disclaimer? Like each individual office is?
So see, it's got all of this down here.
Okay.
And then these are those live links to the privacy policy.
Got it.
Policy. That's hard to say for me today.
So if we add the legal footer, it's automatically going to put all that in there.
Mm-hmm. Let's
Perfect.
check I lost the landing page that I made. Let's go back to landing pages just to make sure. They update them every so often, so I always like to just double check. So the landing page footer isn't that full disclaimer because it's not a full website. But
Got it.
It'll have your brokerage information to keep you compliant, and then each office is independently owned and operated.
Got it. Okay, awesome.
Good question. And then since we were talking about pictures, one of the free sites I like to use is Unsplash. So you can see right here, Unsplash, UNSPLASH. So if you're looking for anything in particular, now this isn't necessarily going to be like, I'm looking for something in Downers Grove, right? But if you want like open house, maybe we want open house sign. See, like this would be a cool picture. You could put some text on that little marquee, but these are all free to use. Open, right? If you're like, I want to do something with balloons. Look at all these pictures. They're all free. So Unsplash is one, and another one I like is Pixabay. Pixabay. So these are free stock images. Oh, and this one's got videos now too. I forgot, I haven't been on it in a while. You can search for colors, so if you want to keep in your color theme, you can do that. So red backgrounds. Ooh, look, pepperoni, yum. Who doesn't like a good slice? Right? Find some neighborhood shots. So those are a couple of good resources for you. Any other questions or ideas? Something you guys want to try out? Or dig into a little bit more? Got about 10 minutes left, or we can call it a day. Quiet today.
Hey, Amy.
Yeah.
Is there a way to, like, so if we were on our website, like you were saying, kind of add a tab, you know, like I live in DeKalb, so like popular neighborhoods in DeKalb. Is there a way just to like put that and then have like buttons to go to those neighborhoods, or?
So that would be these buttons here. So you would have to make each area with that special code that I showed you. So you would have to do your search first, but you don't have to put any filters in it if you don't want to. You could just do a search for, you know, DeKalb and do that whole area. And then save the link for when you do your search, the link that'll be up in the top here into that widget code, and add that to your page. And you could just say, you know, DeKalb homes or whatever areas you want to do. So you could have a couple listed in here.
And so I was trying to do it as you were talking, and also I wanted to add a contact form, but it keeps adding it to the top. Is there a way to add it toward the bottom?
Oh, sure. Let's go back in here, and I'm going to create a new site. And you're doing it on your page, right? Not as a landing page? You're doing it on your website?
Sorry, I muted. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure I click the right one. So on my site, create page. Make sure you name them, you guys, or else you're going to end up with 100 pages and you don't know what's what without clicking on it and opening it. Okay, so neighborhood test. All right, so what I would do, it's your contact form is what you were looking for, right?
Yes.
So you already have stuff in here?
Yeah, so I put in the embedded link, I put in my website, like you said, and then, you know, I highlighted it and then it pulled up the neighborhood search. But then when I went to go add a widget in, it keeps adding it to the top instead of at the bottom.
It might be just because that the code is so big, it might not like see the bottom of it. So if you, so see how I have my text box in here, but I haven't put my code in just yet?
Right.
If I grab it and see how that green bar is below the text now?
Oh, okay.
So that's where it'll drop. So wherever you see that green bar go is where, see if I bring it above insert text, now that meet the team is above my little text line here.
Okay, perfect.
You might be able to, see, I don't think you can, oh, maybe you can. Okay, if you click on since you already like kind of opened the widget in there, does it give you the option to have the trash or copy or the move buttons when you click on it, or no?
Not after I put in the code. So I guess maybe that was the problem, is I should put it all the way I want it first and then put the code in last.
Yeah, I found that, and that's a good point that you brought up. I do find it easier to do my whole layout before I go and add any of the coding into the back end of the site. But then maybe, hopefully that does it for you. Gets it all situated the way you want it. Any other questions? Was anybody else playing along? You guys want to go over anything? Okay, well then I'm going to ask you a question. What else do you guys want to learn about?
I'm actually just going to practice this today.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll go back because you're recording this, so I can go back and follow along with your recording, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
and I can try to clean it up a little bit more. We can do another class where it's a little more structured. I just figured I'd show you what I had come across and see what you guys thought about it.
No, it's awesome. No, it's great information. It's very helpful. I'm going to use it. It was awesome. Thank you.
Good, thank you, yeah. Yeah, so I'm always open to new class ideas. So if you guys are looking to dig into a specific like piece of command or social media, or if you're like, hey, what are the different things I can use to achieve X? Like I want to talk about all the things I can do around open houses or around listings, or, you know, then we can talk about different features, but with one common goal. Or I can talk about one feature at a really high level. So just, if you guys have ideas, always reach out, let me know, and I'm happy to share what I know with you.
Thank you.
And you
Amy, I
guys
do.
to share what you know with everybody else.
So Amy, I do have a quick question too.
Sure.
On my website, I do want to add like a preferred vendors tab too, like so people I specifically network with and work with, but I want it to be able like where they can click on a link to go to their website. So how would I do that?
So you would still want to use that same iframe code and
Okay.
put their link right where it says your website here.
Okay, and then it would populate like their name and, or do I have to put that in?
Yeah. So you would put outside of, so like vendor name, visit now, and let's see if I can find Todd's page. Here we go. So let's test it out. Let's see how it works. I haven't done this before. There we go.
So could I add like multiple text boxes then and just like have my inspector, have my lender all on one page instead of having separate tabs for each one?
Yes, I've also seen, let me think of what her website is. Kingsland. Nope, wrong website. Darn, I can't remember what her website is. All right, so they have, where did they have it? Maybe they updated their page. Featured properties. No. See how they've embedded some links in here?
Okay.
So this is within a widget. I can tell you that this page that we're on, this is the company profile widget, and they put links inside the little text box in the widget that was already built.
Okay.
I thought they had a page like you were talking about on here. Maybe they updated their website. But that's an example of, this is not in that text option. So what we had been using was this guy, this text block here. They use this one, the company profile.
Okay.
And then when they hit configure widget, oops, there we go. They put their links inside these boxes.
Okay. Perfect.
And that's how they got the pictures and stuff on that page too.
Awesome. Okay, that helps.
It's something to play around with. All right. Well, unless there's any other questions, I think we'll call it a day. And oh, Kelly said, can we put the widget in there one more time? Yes. Give me 1 second, Kelly. I'm posting the code in the chat box right now. There it is.
Sorry, we got kicked out of Zoom and I lost everything.
Yeah, I totally understand. And then, like I said, if anybody wants to email me for that code, it's just amystack@e2psuccess.com. and I'll happily send that over for you. All right. Well, thanks for coming, guys. I'll send out an email with
Thanks,
the
Amy.
recording and what we're doing next week. Next week will be an Ask Amy, so bring lots of questions.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.